Hello, my name is Lisa, and there's, a hot topic going on right now, about R. Kelly. I'm 53 years old, so I've listened to R. Kelly for many years, up until, um, really, up until he went to court, you know, for the sex tape, for the child pornography, and then it pretty much started fading out. Then he came out with Trapped in the Closet, and I was following that for a minute. Now I don't listen to him at all. Not even Trapped in the Closet. But my whole thing is I'm speaking out because, me being a victim of rape and sexual assault, I feel that it's my duty to actually say something because I feel for the victims. I found it very hard to muddle through the sixth part. I barely made it through the first part because I identified with the women in the docu series. Um, okay, I've been hearing a lot of things, and of course everybody's entitled to their opinions. But when I see things like women talking about they want to be held hostage, they don't care, this is what bothers me to my heart. Because it's not just you being held hostage, you're also being physically and verbally abused. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would anybody in their right mind want that? You know? And then the second thing that I'm hearing is a lot of people are dragging victims. And my whole thing is, you can't drag the victim if she was underage. You need to drag the adult that was in the situation who knew better. Drag that person. Don't drag the victim. You don't ever drag the victim. Because all you're doing is re traumatizing them. You know? Um, and then the music. I've heard a lot of people saying, that um, you can't really separate. You have to separate the person from his art, but in this instance you really can't, because as I sit back after watching the docu-series and I go back many years and I listen and in my head and I hear the songs and I hear the lyrics of the song, he's pretty much telling you what he's doing, you know. And the one song that really stuck out to me, it seems like you're ready. So to me, that's like you're singing about an underage girl. You know, seems like you're ready to go all the way. You know, and then even with Aaliyah, because y'all know that he produced her first CD, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. So it's like he's basically telling you in song what he's doing. But y'all get so caught up in the music, and I'm to blame too. We get so caught up in the music that we forget who this man and what this man actually is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like most of the time you can separate the person from the art, but in this instant, the art and the person are one and the same because he's saying exactly what he's doing. And because we got so caught up in the music, we don't listen to the lyrics, and forgetting about him being a pedophilia. you know and another thing I want to bring up too, because everybody's saying, well, he wasn't found guilty. Okay, we got one thing in the military, because I'm a veteran, and we had one saying in the military: if you're good for all 4 years or 4 years of your service, they award you with a good conduct award. It's not the fact that you've been good, it's just that you didn't get caught. You know what I'm saying? And the same applies here. First of all, they didn't charge him with child molestation. They charged him with child pornography because they thought it would be easier to get him that way. Not to mention that he had already paid off this girl's parents to be quiet, which is why she never showed up in court to testify. Trust me, if that person would have stepped up, not accepted money, and testified against him, he'd probably still be in jail. You know, so let's not get this twisted. Y'all saying that he wasn't convicted, but he wasn't charged with child molestation. He was only charged with child pornography. And I, to life, don't know how that slipped away. I mean, I never saw the tape, but I heard about the tape. And from what I'm to understand, that was definitely R. Kelly in that video. You know? So how you not convict on that? But that's not neither here or there, because I believe God got a higher purpose for his behind. And it's starting to come to fruition right now. It just hurts my heart. It does. It really hurts my heart, you know, to see these young women, you know, that have been victimized by this man, and to muddle through. I felt their pain because their pain resonated my own pain, you know. Now, when I was raped and sexually assaulted, I was like 23 and 24 years old. So I was an adult. And I'm still dealing with it. So imagine a 14-year-old. You know, if a 23, 24-year-old person can't mentally handle it, what do you think a 14-year-old's mind will do? That's just a question. I'm putting it out there. You know, I believe in forgiveness. I do. But at this point, I'm finding it hard to forgive because, you know, my own pain resonates with that. You know, if you've never been held down, if you've never been forced to have sex or violated in any kind of way, then you really can't speak on it because you don't know. I said, but the only thing I have an issue with, and I'm not one to knock anybody from domestic violence, because God knows I grew up in a domestic violence household. I've been a victim of it myself. But Drea Kelly, I'm sorry. I just don't believe her. I don't. Because her actions are not, you know, they're not, she's not acting like she was a victim. You know, she's really not acting like a victim. So I do not believe that she was a victim. I think she's an opportunist. She's that one bad apple that spoils the whole bunch. You know, I've heard people say, well, maybe we need to stop talking about it and let this die down. I said, yeah, well, we did that when Aaliyah happened. We did that with the sex tape. We stopped talking about it. And now look where we are. No, this happened for a reason. This happened because this conversation needs to be had all over the world. Boys and girls alike, this conversation has to happen, whether we want to or not. This is God's way of saying we need to deal with this issue because this is an issue. Is he the only R. Kelly? No. There's plenty of R. Kellys running around this world. You know? But if you stop one, you know, maybe somebody will get an idea and say, well, hey, we don't need all that. And I give praises to, the hashtag Me Too and hashtag Times Up. Because if it wasn't for them, I think this would still be going on, and it would be on a much bigger scale. And I think that this rabbit hole with R. Kelly goes much further than we think. Right now, we just getting the tip of the iceberg, and I think it's gonna run real deep. Whether you believe it or not, you know, that's neither here nor there. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, you know. So, but I'm just saying, for me, I'm all about nomore.org. I'm all about no more, no more. I said it's about time that we start taking care of our community and stop allowing these predators, celebrity or not, to stop preying on our children. You know, you can't let your child go off with anybody just because he's well known. Yeah, he's well known in the public eye, but you don't know what he's doing behind closed doors. Now we starting to get a picture. We are starting to get a picture of what he does behind closed doors. You know, I'm just saying. My heart and prayer goes out to those women outside of Drea, because I think she's about as sick as he is, and both of them need help. You know what I'm saying? So I said all of this to say what? I said all of this to say I feel for the women. I feel for the true victims. I know what it's like to be violated. No matter which way you get violated, it's still a violation. And I feel and I pray for them and their healing. And the other thing, before I leave, is that all those people that were down with him for decades that are just now starting to jump ship, you just as guilty as he is. I could care less if you jump today or tomorrow. You were still down with the cause for decades. You were still there. You were still part of his team. You were still out there recruiting them girls for him. So guess what? You just as guilty as the rest of as he is, and you need to go down along with him, side by side. You know, because that's just not right. If we're not going to protect our children, who will? I'm not a mother, but I have 3 nephews that I love very dearly. So I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I remember back in the day coming up, I wasn't even allowed to spend the night over boy house. I said, but the one time my mom did, she made sure she had the number and she spoke to his mother. But then his sister was also there too. So it was, him, her, and his mother. So, and I was just right around the corner, from my apartment, and I was in my teens, mid to late teens, but that's the way my mother was. you know I could care less what. You are not spending the night at no boy's house. you know Hell, she had a hard time letting us spend the night at our girlfriend's house. You know, it wasn't getting past her unless she spoke to the parents and had a number and knew exactly where I was. You know, so I don't get it. I don't get it. Um, I just thought that I needed to make this video to let people know I stand with the victims. I stand with nomore.org. I stand with hashtag me too, and I stand with hashtag times up, and I stand with hashtag mute R. Kelly. I stand with it all. So with that, I'm gonna end this video, and may y'all all have a blessed day.